Let me ask you something. How many of you are out there demanding respect but don't even know how to give it? How many of you want a woman to love you, to be loyal to you, but you haven't earned it? Well, today we're diving into what the Bible says about being a man in a relationship. I want to go over two verses that every man needs to hear if they want to start showing up as the partner that they're meant to be. We're talking about Colossians 3:19 and Ephesians 5:25. Now, these aren't just Bible verses to quote. They're calls to action. They're about taking responsibility. Colossians 3:19 says, "Husbands, love your wives and do not be harsh with them." Simple, right? Wrong. Most of you are failing at this every single day. The key here isn't just love. It's about not being harsh. A lot of you think being a man means being tough, controlling, or having the final say. You think you've got to dominate to get respect. But let me tell you something. That's not strength. That's insecurity. When Colossians says don't be harsh, it's talking to the core of how you handle conflict. Are you lashing out because you feel threatened? Are you talking down to your woman because you're scared of losing control? You see, real men don't need to use force or intimidation to prove their worth. Real men lead with love, patience, and respect. Being harsh is a weakness. It shows that you can't control your own emotions. And if you can't control your own emotions, how do you expect to lead a family, a relationship, or even yourself? You don't get to demand respect if you're giving disrespect in return. So stop that. Stop thinking that love is about power. It's about discipline, self-control, and understanding. Your relationship isn't a battlefield where you win by overpowering her. You win by standing up as a man who can keep his cool when things get tough. That's what this verse is telling you, to stop being harsh. Start being the man that you're called to be. Now, let's take it even deeper. Ephesians 5:25. It doesn't suggest how to act. It sets the bar high. It says, "Husbands, love your wives, just as Christ loved the church and gave himself up for her." You think loving someone like Christ loved the church is easy? Nah, that's sacrifice. That's dedication on a level that most men aren't even scratching the surface of. Look at the standard here. As Christ loved the church. Do you get that? That means you love without expecting anything in return. You sacrifice for her. And I'm not talking about buying gifts or doing something when it's convenient for you. I'm talking about putting her needs above yours, being there when it's tough, when you'd rather walk away. How many of you are really ready to give up your ego for the woman that you love? How many of you are willing to stop thinking about your pride, your needs, your desires, and start thinking about what's best for the relationship? You see, loving someone like Christ loved the church means that you give up selfishness. It means that you don't wait for her to prove herself to you. You prove yourself to her. That's leadership. And don't get it twisted. This doesn't mean being passive or letting her walk all over you. Christ led the church with strength and compassion, but he never compromised. His mission? You love her by standing firm in your values, by being someone that she can depend on, not just when things are good, but especially when things are tough. Here's the cold hard truth though, guys. Most of you are out here expecting your woman to be loyal, loving, and submissive, but you haven't earned it. You can't demand respect without giving respect. You can't expect her to pour love into you when you're only feeding her scraps of your attention. You want her to admire you? Then give her something to admire. Ephesians 5:25 isn't about being weak. It's about being a man of strength and character. The kind of man that leads his household with purpose, not with fear or domination. A man who knows his worth doesn't have to raise his voice to prove it. A man who truly loves his woman doesn't manipulate her emotions. He protects them. If you're not willing to step up and sacrifice, and stop asking her to stick around, because the harsh reality is you're not loving her like the Bible calls you to. And don't kid yourself thinking that you can twist this into some old-fashioned idea of submission. No, this full ownership of your role, your behavior, and your responsibility. So how do you start living these verses? Well, you need to make some serious changes right now, not tomorrow, not when it's convenient, but today. You start by checking yourself. How are you speaking to your woman? Is it with kindness and respect, or are you lashing out because of your own insecurities? Next, look at where you're failing to sacrifice. Are you prioritizing her needs, or is it always about you? If you're not willing to give up your ego, your time, your selfish desires, don't expect her to give you her loyalty and love. You want to embody Colossians 3:19 and Ephesians 5:25? You've got to lead by example, and that means every single day you're choosing to love her with patience, discipline, and respect. When you get angry, you control it. When you get hurt, you rise above it. And when you're tempted to take the easy way out, you remind yourself what real love requires: sacrifice and strength. Always lead with love, and watch how your relationship transforms when you lead with love. If you found this video helpful, then consider watching these two videos right here, where on this one, I talk about dating after trauma. And here, I talk about how forgiving and letting go can save your relationship. Hope to see you in either one of these videos. Thanks for watching.